Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we're going to be carrying on with the Fallen London serial story, Evolution, and I do believe I actually have to start this off by using tons of actions because I need to do one more high tide in the Poisoned Pawn in order to support our beloved miners, I believe, anyway. So let's direct the miners to a promising dig site. Am I? I am not. In my persuasive gear. And here we go, low tide in the Scintillact pools. I shall just quickly go through this. I feel we are going to be distracting the lamp cats here. And we're back. Going to the pedigree of silver. Let's entertain an open-handed inspector. He has descended from the clarifying plant to observe today's impressive yield, and finds himself in a suggestible mood. When you suggest paying for drinks, they should use the rest of our rusty gold here. The Poisoned Pawn is your private dining room. The table is crowded with shockled shells, drained mugs, and demolished pie. The open-handed inspector leans back with lip-smacking satisfaction, loosening a button with compliments as you serve more. Your conversation is friendly, relaxed, and winds leisurely through subjects personal and professional, but never, ever financial. The Youthful Naturalist says little and eats less, pushing his own pie away, but the inspector is happy to fill any lulls. He has opinions, you see, and even ideas. What he lacks are opportunities. Not to imply that the iron and misery does not provide, not at all. What more could an honest man want than honest employment with the company? You come to a perfect understanding, made even more perfect by its unspoken nature. When spirits are in such accord, they needn't sully the moment with vulgar things like words or, heaven forbid, records. I hope we're doing the right thing, says the Youthful Naturalist, after the inspector has politely tipped his hat and returned to the factory. I've never met a more unpleasant man. Doesn't seem too bad. We got a basket of rubbery pies for our 20,000 rusty gold. What a bargain. Now, I do believe that is what we needed. So what we need now is cartographic comprehension. And I believe that is through considering gambling with the lamp cats. All this coral is alive, says the Youthful Naturalist. One giant anatomy just waiting to be mapped. We don't have enough time to do it ourselves. Yes, I read that in the last episode. Let's see if we can beat the cat. I mean, I have a 10% chance. Oh, this is gonna suck. The novice lamp cat is still learning, but that lure affixed to its head is a decided advantage. Your eyes are lost in the light. Your strategies soften and blur. Your kin wails for help, but you can't hear its lament. Your ears are filled with crashing waves and crying gulls from memories that are not yours. This Scintillact isn't yours anymore either. The novice lamp cat's victory is decisive indeed, and it quickly starts licking the silvery chunk like a great sugar cube. You watch the knob dissolve under its tongue. Let me just quickly make sure I actually have my player of chess equipment equipped. Still 10%. Okay, well, let's try again. I'm having terrible luck here. I mean, I say terrible luck, it is only 10%, but I am running out of Scintillact. This could prove problematic. I ran out of Scintillact, so I am currently in the mines, liberating some for myself, but I feel I may as well read this because it's mildly interesting. I just stole some. When it emerges from the refinery, the Scintillact is as uniform and pristine as if it had fallen naturally, ready to be ground into snuff or polished into jewellery or steeped in tea. The knots of coral here, however, bear jagged abrasions where they have been hacked from the reef. As you slip a lump of the stuff into your pocket, a sharp spur of coral breaks the skin of your palm, and a memory laps at your mind like sea foam, jumbled, wordless, just the briefest sense of the spine-shaking music of a bruised sky, barely felt, and receding like the tide. Oh no, I failed to steal one. I've been spotted. The miners keep a close eye on the raw scintillate, being paid for their labours by weight, and only upon delivery to the refinery. The shimmering silver light thrown out by the coral rather interferes with your attempt to make a stealthy approach, and you are chased away from the precious cargo by a particularly loud and belligerent foreman. Bugger. Okay, so I've managed to pick up 5 pieces of scintillate. Let's see if we can beat a lab cat at chess before I run out of actions, preferably. This isn't going well. This is the most evil check in the game ever. I've decided. I am deeply upset with this. Okay, it's been a day, and I went back to my Parabola base camp. Spent some time playing chess and managed to get my playing chess up to 5, plus I have the 2 from my item, so hopefully this makes this check a little bit easier than the 10% that we had before. I would like to thank all the people who told me where to go and how to do this. It's been mighty useful, otherwise I probably would have been lost. But let's hope, right, that we get this the first time I click this button. For God's sake. There we go. We succeeded. Across the board, the novice lampcat considers a paw. The youthful naturalist wipes sweat from his forehead, but faithfully records each move for reference later. Play is interrogation. Your questions are the chess pieces. You take their pulse as a doctor would, fingers applying pressure, and the novice lampcat pushes the paw forward as if to say, take this one next. Do you feel it? The game's steady beat, like blood under skin, like water under the earth. Is anyone writing these annotations down? I have it, the youthful naturalist says, still sweating and scribbling. So the youthful naturalist is starting to assemble a rather unconventional map. Oh good lord. Now we have to play against the disillusioned Grand Master. She might have left the business to you, but she will never leave the game. Luckily we have quite a lot of chances at this, as it uses Broken Giant 1844, but we only have a 40% chance. With 7 a player of chess. I could have got it higher, but it required me to do some special things that I didn't do. Let's try. Maybe we'll get it first time. You play her once for the poisoned pawn's deed, but that was a cordial negotiation. She wanted a draw. This time, she doesn't hold back. Clumsy, she says when the game is over. So many mistakes, blunders. It's almost an insult to the board. What happened to me? I must be more rusty than I thought. She continues to condemn her own victory, pointing out flaws in the mid-game and apologising for the poor performance she delivered. But she still happily takes the bottle. It helped drown the shame, she explains. Let's try again. And again. And again. There we go. The youthful naturalist squirms as he watches, like a child confronted with steamed vegetables. But your victory, despite his nerves, is assured. Check and check, and check again. The disillusioned Grandmaster reigns in her battle-weary night. But your cream is merciless. Checkmate. Checkmate. Yes, you see it now. Trace the sequence backwards, blood returning to the heart, and you confirm that your victory, adrenaline surging, was determined 20 moves ago by the Grandmaster's roots, veins branching around bone. She guided the game to this outcome. Good, she says. You feel the pulse too. Weak, but present. Interesting. Who's next? The Nefarious Outcast. I know this man from sunless seas. Oh my, it knows the principles well. Very well indeed. It leaves slime on the chess pieces, a 20% chance. Oh dear. It's going to use 25 of my nodules of warm amber that I only have 400 of. This may be another stickling point for something that I have to go and grind. Let's hope we get really lucky. Damn it. The Nefarious Outcast, the rubbery man. There is no doubt about that. And yet there is doubt in your mind as you play. Doubt about the pieces on the board. Doubt about the will that bids them move. Your fingers are slippery with blood, cut by the coral bishops. From what imagination did these hostile designs spring? How can the outcast handle them without injury? Fool, says the outcast, as it tips over your kin with its skin's paw. Rather simply, as if you're no challenge. Evidently, you're not. Its tentacles shake out to the amber. Let's try again. Oh, we did it. Oh, jubilations, how wonderful. The match lasts an hour before the youthful naturalist steps away quickly to get a drink. After another hour, he steps away quickly again, then returns with enough provisions to last for... It's best not to think about it. Don't break your concentration. The board breathes as you play the Nefarious Outcast. It tells you secrets with its chess pieces. Each piece moves a certain way, and each arrangement means a certain thing, and every placement on the board suggests how other pieces should be placed. The board is a body. The board is coral, and if you plant this root in the right place, the Nefarious Outcast has been defeated. The youthful naturalist is slapping your shoulder, and the small crowd that's gathered around you is cheering. It is the next day's early evening, and you have a tolerably accurate map of the principles of coral. I think we've done everything we can. So can we consider the logistics? Prepare to stake out space for your next experiment. You've drafted an ornithological map of the principles of coral. You've also purchased a lax attitude from the Iron and Misery Company. All that remains is to set up the necessary tripods, prisms, and theodolites, which the youthful naturalist has conveniently borrowed from a burly surveyor of recent acquaintance, to test the island for concentrated essences. We'll use the lamp cats, he says. They'll confirm when we're in the right spot. Once we learn the geography, the same data should also enable us to map our anatomy. Just look at the chess addicts around here. Coral and flesh aren't so dissimilar. During low tide, the youthful naturalist needs to study how the lamp cats interact with the principles of coral. Discourage the miners from working. Encourage the lamp cats. So, time for us to go back to high tide in the poisoned pawn, and I guess this time round, we're helping the cats. I also trained up my monstrous anatomy on the grounds that I was told it might be useful, so we might try that, but let's put on our watchful gear here. That didn't really raise my watchful as much as I was hoping. We have an 85% chance to provide the lamp cats with somewhere to rest. The back room, in fact. The lamp cats do not sleep like normal cats. They flush a contented teal when you provide them with blankets and restoke the fireplace. But instead of curling up beside the fire, they remain on all fours, slinking slowly around the snug. Their huge, blank eyes remain open. Spiracles just below their ears gasp, attempting to push water that isn't there over waiting gills. This is the never still half sleep of the shark. Predatory, aware, mobile. We got ourselves some tales of terror. What do I get for doing... Oops. What do I get for doing the leading the lamp cats in a chess lesson? Chess guides the currents of Port Cecil. The lamp cats must learn its symbols, its geometry, its slow rhythms of give and take. The cats observe your demonstrations intently. Fist-sized eyes and bobbing escape, casting the pieces on the board into weaving patterns of Pelegrin's shadow. Claws flex as you explain the dependable movements of the paws, eyes narrow to slits at the violence of the knights. Burbling purrs break out as you elucidate the importance of the kin. Your lessons are immediately vindicated in the following practice matches, which culminate in a lamp cat knocking over the kin of its coral-encrusted opponent with an insouciant bat of its toe pads. Locals are already calling the feline's final maneuver the angler's mate. We just build this. Should we try to instruct the lamp cats in the coral calcification of the locals? Sure, why not? The cat's fluid felinity is at odds with the bright incrustations of scintillate. The lamp cats have been changed before, and may be changed again. Oh wow, we succeeded. The silver calices that flower on Port Cecil lifters are not foreign growths, but their own biological matter which is transmuted as some corresponding slice of scintillate is naturally shed from the reef. Their movements are slow and grinding, their coral an inconvenience. Pelegrin eyes flicker with understanding. 3 sets of eyelids to a blink. This is the price of communion on the principal's terms. They understand. A lamp cat licks a local's proffered hand. Its lure flickers. Is there something new and brittle in the lamp cat's gait? A silvery yearning in its lamplight. Yeah, we got incendiary gossip and romantic notions. That's not that bad. But I think for the sake of ease, I shall just stick to giving them a place to rest. Here we go. Low tide in the scintillate pools. Activity for today is focused on a tide pool near the waterline that promises a hefty payload of scintillate, as before, but instead of helping the men, we'll be helping the cats. Okay, so what do we actually have to do here? We have a 30% chance of success. Not easy work hauling all these tools around, but you know where to go. Success will increase your surveying progress. You will need 3 to conduct an experiment at the pedigree of silver when feline argentation is also in the lead. Oh my. Okay. With monstrous anatomy 8, we managed to get it to a 50% chance of success. I'm going to try it, see what happens. Oh no, we failed. The youthful naturalist stares at the map, scratches his chin. I could have sworn these polyps were somewhere else, he mutters. Halfway between a lost hope and a fading dream, but it looks like we're 10 paces away from an old grudge. Your own efforts to interpret the landscape are no more illuminating. While the miners labour in the pits and the lamp cats prowl along the waterline, you wade through a knee-deep pool, with the youthful naturalist awkwardly holding the equipment over your head. On the plus side, this did appear to increase the feline argentation. So let's try it again. Huzzah, we succeeded. You march with purpose across the coral, setting up your equipment, taking measurements, and following the lamp cats. Their lures can filter memories, says the youthful naturalist. If they're congregating somewhere, we should congregate there too. Indeed. The implacable detective's notes have much to say about similar lures. Judging by these dates, she researched them earlier in her career, years before the stone tentacle key. There must be an overlap. She has tucked the older papers inside the same file with her notes about Hunter's Keep. You compare them while the miners whistle and ignore you. Can we do that again? Will we get lucky? Cross those fingers. Wonderful. One more time? Oh, wonderful. I believe that may have been the luckiest we've ever been. Didn't mean to press onwards, whoops. Let's see if we can do some of these other ones that help the cats. Like, prey on the miners' health concerns. The miners live in mortal terror of contracting spark lung, a fiery ailment caused by breathing coral dust. Use this to your advantage. Don't you think the scintillate hangs in the air like vapour? Do you really want to risk such a fiery argentation of the lungs? You only need make one whispered comment to a banksman, and concern travels through the tide pool like a bad smell. The miners are understandably reluctant to loiter where they might contract an illness that ignites their every cough in silver flame. The pit empties quickly. Work is thin on the ground for those with spark lung, although, judging from notes left in the foreman's now empty tent, the pit's aggressive expansion plans mean they can't afford to turn away too many workers. We gained some journals of infamy there. We can also bring the scintillate miners some refreshments. A few beers would surely impede their efforts. Nobody would question your generous spirit. By the time you have wrangled the firkin of stout through the scintillate fields to today's pit, you have the rapt and hopeful attention of the entire mining team. Miners clamber out from nooks of serrated coral and disentangle themselves from their harnesses. Not long, and 2 more firkins later, the work team has arranged itself in an unsteady circle, belting out the 16th verse of an improbably bawdy shanty concerning a Zayla with lovers in every kingdom of Presbyterian. A quick survey of the remaining kingdoms suggests their work will be delayed for quite a while. Okay, let's just do that one more time, I suppose. And here we are, the Pedigree of Silver. We need to conduct an experiment. This is the spot, says the Youthful Naturalist, where the silver meets the Z, the future meets the past. The pools look like... He checks his notes. Sources of cream? Above is the imposter moon's pale circle in the sky. Below is the same circle in the pool. Here, says the Youthful Naturalist, crouching closer to the moon. Precisely 7 steps before madness, 7 heartbeats before high tide, and 7 breaths before I might think twice. He breaks a chunk from the moon's face. Golden ripples spread across its silvery surface, and a tang like rancid fish and squeezed lemon bursts from the polyp the naturalist has just popped. All around the pool, lampcats are lapping the creamy liquid. It shines brighter, blazing from silver to gold. They are drinking the moon, and its light is filling their lures. You might want to sit down, says the Youthful Naturalist. He is sitting cross-legged himself, with the structure and distribution of coral reefs spread open like a grimoire. Everything is very, very bright. You aren't sitting anywhere. Your fronds are twisting in a deep abyss, coiling around sunk ships and ancient bones. Your own bones bend, spikes protrude from your spine. Eons pass in a blink. Cliffs toppling, seas boiling, tides withdrawing from your coral skin. You are looking at a lampcat, whose tongue is still lapping your innermost light, as any cat would lap cream from a dish. Wait a moment. You know this lampcat. We can commune with the novice lampcat, the one we played chess with. Its lure opens portholes into memories from distant minds. Even these ancient bones are new. You push them aside and stretch your fronds deeper. Before the bazaar, before the sun opened its flaming eye. You are a polyp. You are a pulse. You fit like a cog in a clock, and the proper key could wind you. Click, click, click. At this crossroads, where the novice lampcat shines light into branching ancestries, you could be a hunger without end. You could be a fish. You could be a forest. You could be the novice lampcat itself, guiding you from porthole to porthole. You could even be the youthful naturalist, lying back with his limbs sprawled through centuries and species as he laughs and splashes in the shallow pool. You could be the coral. You could be its kin. You could drown in all these memories. The novice lampcat opens the closest porthole, so to speak, and the cascade crashes out, flushing you into a flooded basement. Black water closes overhead. Gained a memory of a much lesser self. You have descended into the basement. They are waiting for you back upstairs. This is the traditional rite of passage. All the new recruits must do it. Nothing to worry about, they said, as they snickered, and they don't expect you to succeed. Nobody does, but it will teach you something important, which you might have trouble learning otherwise. Your task is simple. Touch the light. 3 options we can reach toward the light. It's affixed to something much larger than a lampcat. Something that swims in the darkness under the courthouse. Something that the magistrates cannot govern. We can flee from the light. You've come this far. That's enough. They won't know the difference upstairs anyway. You'll take your badge, wear it proudly, and bury this truth with the other bodies. Or we can close our eyes to block out the light. You aren't really here. This isn't happening to you. This is a choice that you don't have to make because somebody else already made it long ago. Let's reach toward the light. What could go wrong? You are young now, but you will grow old. Your flesh will wither. Your joints will ache. You will not know yourself in the mirror, but your mind will only grow sharper, and you will never forget that beacon in the dark. Surrounded by aquatic life, monstrous fish, outcast, unclassified, rubbery beasts unfit to see the sun. How you reached out, and the light suddenly vanished. How the terror filled you with a chill that lingers even years later when you strike a few lines from your notebook and file it away to never see sunlight itself. You do not belong. You will never belong. In the murk that clouds the intervening years, like sand stirred by feet walking along an undersea bed, the novice lampcat still floats. Other lampcats peer through memory's porthole, from both within and without. They teem in the flooded basement, companions to the light beneath the law, and they run over the shore as waves wash the coral. This memory was not so very distant after all. They witnessed it with their own eyes. We can break the surface. You cannot hold your breath forever. No, not even after the Gant pole. I was there. I saw it too. I was a fish, says the youthful naturalist. You're sitting in the poisoned pawn. A notice posted on the door tells customers there is no chess tonight. You both have a drink, which the naturalist very much needs. I thought she meant something else by shame in her notes, but she was writing about her own shame. The constables are worse than the young stags, sending her to confront that monster. They knew it would reject her. No wonder she also rejected her research. Apparently we gained some of the youthful naturalist's acceptance. We lost the malleability and the cunning. We did gain a magisterial lager. The lampcats yawn and lounge, their repose at hand. and some of the lamp cats disappear into the Z. Others slink from the waters to take their place. And here we are again, the fruits of science. By most accounts, yours has not been the most conventional research, but it has yielded results. With the Youthful Naturalist notes, you distill your combined data into a single X on the map you've surveyed together. This X is a point at which core essences are concentrated. As the lamp cats have empirically demonstrated, it is a very small point in both space and time, but it is there, as surely as your thumb is on your hand. Let's discuss our next steps. Now that you have this information, how can you apply it? You have already transformed one flesh into another with the stone tentacle key. That was mere flesh. What flesh indeed does the Neath not transform? What monstrous delights do not evolve in its secret darkness? Yet even the greatest shapelings, changed and changed again, might still walk the same path through life that leads to death, as though they had changed nothing. We'll change the path, says the Youthful Naturalist. We'll turn it away from death. We have the map. We just need to apply it to the body of a human volunteer. He smiles at you. That would be me. That is very brave. We've created the most extraordinary map. Well, let's see what happens. He has endless arguments about why he should be the test subject. He doesn't have endless time, however, to communicate them. Borrowed time. That's all I have. That itself is a strong argument. He still looks out to Z for a black brig. I'm going to do this with or without your approval. I'll understand if you want to step back. Things could get messy. Well, we're going to agree to lend our assistance here, but we could disagree. If we agree, what's a little more blood on your scalpel? If we disagree, he's going to use this island's map to perform amateur surgery on himself. If he has endless arguments to support his decision, there must be at least as many against it. Let's agree to lend our assistance. Right, he says. Let's get to work. More tools are required. Hooks and knives, needle, thread, belts to strap around him so he doesn't squirm. Anesthetics? No, he wants to be awake. But other drugs? Oh yes, he's thought ahead. Along with his books, he has a small medical bag. Mentor gave it to me. He knew I'd need it. One special vial belonged to Lady H. Her initials are engraved finely on the glass. For good luck, he says, drinking it. His pupils dilate. They stay dilated. Let the procedure commence. Now that you've agreed to help, he is all nervous energy to begin. The poisoned pawn will be your operating theatre. Just post another notice about no chess on the door, and people will stay away until you want them back. But first you must consult the maps. There is no room for error when it comes to interpreting the keys or the coordinates, and you will need bandages to staunch the blood. You will need bandages in quantity. Luckily we have quite a lot. Let's prepare to conduct the surgery. It becomes increasingly clear why the Dillman Club once harboured reservations. Closed windows, bolted doors, a rotting smell, seaweed, shellfish, mixed with saltpeter from the mines, mixed further with fumes uncorked from the naturalist's bag. You shut your senses to all distraction. There is no room for error. None. There is only his body, already covered with scars. He lies on the bar like a surgical table, aligning his limbs with the checkered surface. An unfortunate necessity, he says, shuddering on the board. I'll talk you through everything. And if he faints? He considers this for a moment, as though the possibility had not occurred to him before. Don't let that happen. Seems fair. Your world shrinks to encompass no more than the anatomy before your eyes, and that anatomy expands to encompass the world. It is scarred with labyrinthine paths from prior expeditions by adventuresome blades. Tattoos guide your own blade's path. Elaborate patterns inked to mark muscles, veins, tendons, and other forms less physical. The Clathermont triplets are good at their work. Try to cut carefully. Well, I don't have whatever this is, so we have an almost impossible challenge. Oh boy. Well, let me just... It's still 10%. Okay, just thought I'd change my gear just to see. 10%, let's hope. You will remember the Youthful Naturalist's screams for a long time. On the bright side, this is why you have so many bandages. I should have lowered my nightmares before coming here, huh? This is getting slightly dangerous. Bearing in mind I can't drink laudanum while I'm here because I have no, I'm in a story lit. Okay, well let's just keep going until we get really dangerously high nightmares. A deranged is bad. Ahaha, we succeeded. The dusty orthodontist isn't here to help this time. The Youthful Naturalist keeps having to bite a wooden spoon, which muffles his advice. But you recall Lady H. You see the road you took with her. So wide, so clear, practically paved, like walking down a boulevard. You follow the same road again, and then you turn. This direction, rather novel. There's a pulse that guides you. It's where the map says you should go. Not coral, bone. Not water, blood. Not cream, but if a lamp cat dipped its tongue, its lure would still blaze. We have opened a path through the human body. It's time to apply the stone tentacle key. 7 breaths before you might think twice. You dream tonight. You will dream that a frost moth crawls onto your bed. It will sit at the foot, preening its feathery antenna, soft as velvet, heavy as the dead, much larger than Lady H, when she was just a corpse. Her face will be long and pale. I would not have taken that turn, you will say, if I were you. Precisely 7 hours beforehand, you thread the last stitch, the 77th, not incidentally, as the Youthful Naturalist tenderly touches the stone tentacle key. I feel different, he says. He looks different too, with that thing stuck into his spine. It's pinned between his vertebrae. His journals from Klein help narrow down the right area. Right at the base of his neck. Green about the gills, the Youthful Naturalist is indisposed. After all, recovery takes time. But his laboured breathing and endless blinding headache are not encouraging. He is soon confined to bed, where he twists and sweats horribly, sheets constantly caught on the stone tentacle key protruding from his spine. Of course, you attempt to diagnose his symptoms with all the books and research at your disposal, but this territory isn't on the map. Let's speak with the Youthful Naturalist. He beckons you to his bedside with a feeble smile. This might have been a mistake. I think I've made the map wrong. His laugh is even more feeble than his smile. It felt like the universe turned over and the stars looked at me. My whole life changed so quickly. It's hard to describe. Now I don't feel very good. I don't need the Dillman's Club's money right now, but one member still might be able to help. My old sponsor. He shivers violently. The Bishop of St. Fiacres. He's the only one. I wish I had another choice, but nobody else knows this research like him. He still keeps secrets about it. Please, get him to talk. We have to sail to London to report to the Dillman Club on Ladybones Road. But we shall put to sea. And here we are, back in London. It's time for us to report back to Orchard House. It's like walking into a house the morning after a party. Almost nobody is here, but there are still signs from the Dillman Club's last meeting. Empty bottles, champagne glasses, sticky puddles on the floor. The accommodating footman must have been less accommodating after all the drinks. Still, you do find one member. She is sitting in a wheelchair next to the same table, but an unpleasant specimen was previously displayed in a jar. Let's speak with the discreet Sybarite. Can she speak? Didn't something happen to her tongue? The newest returns with more news. Must be a line she has said many times. She speaks like an actor reciting a script, but she touches her temple in confusion. What is the next line? No doubt you wonder how I talk, she says, regaining her rhythm. I was foolish. They had to cut it out. Another grew. She opens her mouth, welcoming you to examine her tongue. A plumper, redder, and more luscious tongue you'll never seen. Succulent, like an ideal strawberry. From a seed, from the forest that bleeds. Upon closer inspection, her taste buds really do resemble seeds on a strawberry's skin. Tiny pearls cushioned in crimson pockets. I know you wish to consult the bishop. I know many things. I will arrange a meeting. Until then, not a whisper. Orchard House listens. In due time, the Bishop of St. Fiacre will contact you for a private meeting. You should keep these developments to yourself before then. Who knows what the walls might overhear? This is where the current chapter of Evolution ends. For now. That is the end of the third chapter of Evolution, and other than the checks there that made it an absolute nightmare to record, the actual story itself, ooh, I'm enjoying this an awful lot, and I hope you are enjoying it too. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, let me know what you think, your comments are greatly appreciated, and as always, I'll see you next time.